everyone. Mark and Joey here with the Ultimate Sports Channel. Joey, I'm going to tell a little bit of history of this. We had the Ultimate Sports Channel going for a couple years, over 100,000 followers a month, and we had some personal stuff to come into our life that kind of shut that down, but we are back. Joey is doing his wagering, which was another big part of our show, Joey's VIP Club. On Twitter, everything runs through Twitter for us now. We found Twitter to be tremendously conversational, being able to talk during the game, much easier. I have a lot of people on listening and a lot of pieces that we can put into it. So this is the resurrection. Ultimate Sports Channel, pretty excited actually to get going back at it after such a long time. And Joey's VIP Club being the sponsor. So what's going to happen in the show? We want to get a little bit of entertainment. You've been doing a lot of picks since the beginning of the year, Joey. A tremendous streak. You're on 19-0 to start, and the last little while as well has been a great streak. You're well up in all of your picks and well versed in all the sports. We're going to talk about that as well.
Yeah, we'll get into a little bit of everything, and yeah, it was a great start, 19-0 to start, and I also have joeysvipwagers.com, which is my website if you want to join the VIP list. But Joey's VIP Club on Twitter has free plays every day. And now we're going to use this video, with Ultimate Sports Channel as our original brand to talk about sports once again, as it is the main thing during COVID to focus on. It's really the only live action we get to see. Yep. There's no more movies for us here in Canada. Can't really go outside even for a restaurant or anything like that.
Everybody knows how tough this has been, man.
Too cold to golf ourselves. Yeah. So for us here in Canada, pro sports has been everything. So we're happy to bring it back, talk about pro sports, how to pick, how to wager in this COVID world with tons of back-to-backs, tough travel, players sitting out, etc. So we'll get into it. It's going to be lots of fun. And always remember, check out my Twitter at Joey's VIP Club, because I do free picks. I do a little bit of analysis, and then you can obviously join VIP to get my max plays, which have been going pretty well of late. Like I said, started hot, cold a little bit there when it got nice and chilly here in Canada, but heated back up here at the end.
NBA screwed all the good stuff you were doing at that point. NBA's been ridiculous to try and make picks this year. The oddest things, massive point spreads where teams have been in front and lose.
With that being said, though, it's now come back to normal.
Yeah,
those adjustments you make. I know a lot of guys that struggled. I've had struggling periods through COVID because of way you bet just maybe isn't fitting anymore. I've even had to make adjustments myself. So, anyways, we'll get into all that. It's gonna be lots of fun. So we'll get into the show here. We're gonna spend like 5 minutes on each sport and give you a little update what's going on newsworthy, and then we'll even give you some things to look for, possibly wagering wise, futures, props, up and coming straight bets and stuff like that. So it's gonna be lots of fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be, Joe. So let's get right into it here. We do want to mention as well that we are getting sponsors on board for the show. The show is going to be at no cost as far as our audience is concerned. It'll be on Twitter every day. You can just grab it and take a look at it. We do appreciate you telling other people about it. That's always fun to do from a Twitter perspective, that people are watching, but also to be able to get those sponsors to help with the show. The more followers you have and the more impressions you have of people coming on board helps us do that, helps us keep it free. And so if you can do that, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I am happy to also shout out other fellow handicappers. So if you're on Twitter right now and you want to get a shout out in the video and in the tweet, I have right now almost 800 followers. I'm going to try to grow that. And, I'm happy to give a shout out, tell people what you do, what your specialty is for sports wagering. So DM me on Twitter if you want to get involved in the video or in the tweet. And we guarantee a certain amount of impressions. You'll be on the show or on the tweet until you get those impressions we promise you. So other handicappers out there, hit me up and let me know if you want some extra exposure.
Yeah, for sure, we'll do that. And we keep a very clean Twitter. We don't buy followers. We have an audit program that audits our followers and eliminates anything that's fake press. Unfortunately, that's not in the news anymore.
Yeah.
Or maybe fortunately, I don't know. But anyway, there's no fake followers here on the account. So anyway, very good account from the perspective. So you're going to need to you pick them up at Joey's Free Wagers or Joey's VIP Wagers. You're also going to pick it up on the Ultimate Sports Channel. Yeah. So if you're not into wagering, come and see the show, and we'll be talking about the different sports and the games coming up and that type of thing. We are going to run 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Simply because we don't have the time to put it together every day.
It's a lot of work, a lot of information, and we're just, we're just trying to bring a little extra, but we'll go 3 days a week. We'll go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday is going to be cool because it's kind of like a recap along with looking at some future wagers. Wednesday is the big day because you kind of got golf and tennis getting into form near the beginning of the week.
Well, you're a professional golfer, so we love the game of golf, but it's also a very special betting sport that we've done. You've done very well, and there's a multitude of bets you can make in the golf world these days. And I'm going to mention one because you kind of didn't want to mention it, but the first day out, you gave your guys on Twitter, Nick Taylor, which is a Canadian, at 150 to 1 to win top 5 on the first day, I think it was, and then he was 12 to 1 because he did get inside the top 5. We use a betting service called Bet365 that you can get cash outs from. We encourage you all to investigate. We know there's more challenges in the U.S., but certainly in Canada, you can sign up for that. They have cash outs. I think the other one you use has cash outs as well.
Yeah, we'll get into that when we get to the golf segment here. We just want to let you know, so Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are the perfect days. Monday's recap and look ahead. Wednesday, we got, golf's going to be a big feature because it does start on Thursdays, but we'll do that as well and look ahead at Thursday and Friday games. And then Saturday we film Friday. Saturday morning, we release it to you guys. Get you all caught up on the weekend. Lots of sports going on the weekend. Saturday is big hockey, basketball. Sunday, we got the Super Bowl. Going forward, it will be, final rounds of golf and stuff like that. So we're really excited to bring you videos on those days. Make sure you tune in Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday for all our shows and videos, and we'll dissect the sports and make some wagers and some picks ourselves, and you guys can get in on those and learn all the information you can.
Yeah, it's a good point that we are filming on a Friday and putting it out on Saturday. There's so much to do going into the weekend sports, so it takes a little bit more time to get ready. Anyway, I said earlier, let's get on with it, and then I talk more. So let's actually get on with it. NHL, right now, we're going to leave the Super Bowl to the last because we might run over, so we're going to let that run. NHL, we're from Canada, as Joey mentioned. Obviously, hockey's a big sport for us. And Joey, the NHL is in a unique season, like a lot of sports are, with having a Canadian division, separate divisions in the U.S. has changed the whole world when it comes to betting or anything else because you're playing the same team so often. You're playing in the same cities. It's very different than the world used to be. And there's no crossovers, no of games.
Yeah, as we look at the NHL, first off, you're seeing a couple divisions where teams are way ahead than the others. Specifically, our team's Toronto Maple Leafs here being in Toronto.
Please, tweet, pray for us, do whatever you do to get good luck. We're now 1967 since we won a cup, but we're 8-2. We might have the team this year.
Well, I think we definitely got the best team in the division, but it's showing some massive separation, which is good and bad. I think it obviously makes the Leafs look very good, and when they play teams like Montreal and Winnipeg, they're good games. But Ottawa has been just destroyed the last couple of games. Vancouver's been beat by pretty much everybody besides when they got to play 4 straight games against Ottawa. Without that, Vancouver's been beat bad by Montreal, been beat bad by the Leafs. So I think what we're seeing in this NHL, we see it in other divisions as well. Boston or Philly are 7-1-2, 7-2-2. Big separation there. The Islanders are struggling. Sabres are struggling. San Jose and Los Angeles and the other one can't get out of their own way because they have to play teams like Colorado, St. Louis, and Minnesota so many times. It's just very difficult. And Vegas, by the way, is 5-1-1. They show them in 4th place. It's only because they play 7 games. Technically, you got Vegas, Colorado there at the top of that with St. Louis. So those are just 3 tough teams. So you really got some tough separation. And then you got Tampa Bay absolutely destroying their division. Florida looks unbeatable as well lately. And then Dallas getting together. So Detroit, 2-7-2. Tell me who they're going to beat in this division. It's just very difficult. So you're seeing a lot of separation. While you're seeing some competitive games and some rivalries brew, it's just a lot of separation.
Well, I don't know how I feel about it. There's a lot less below the 500 mark. There's more, there's teams in certain divisions where the top end is top heavy. And just playing multiple games in a row is really a challenge too because, you get used to that team. So sometimes you find some surprises that you might not have found in the past. You've been very good, actually. I thought it was going to be challenging with the NHL this year and making picks. But you find all of that because it's 2 games in a row, 3 games in a row. Then they don't play like Vegas only has 7 games. I heard, oh my God, my age thing skipped me. But one of the NHL teams has got bad COVID issues, and they're going to cancel a couple games and stuff like New Jersey. Yeah. So everything makes it very difficult to see what the schedule is going to be like and the standings are. Here's a couple of things that are really important. The Leafs I already mentioned. very important. Vegas, because we want to travel to Vegas to see some hockey. We love going to Vegas. I mean, this has been the worst winter there is. We usually start in Florida, where we spend a lot of time in the winter, and then for golf, and then we always like to get over to Vegas for a little while, and we haven't been able to do that this year. We are sitting in cold temperatures here. We mentioned we're Canadian, but we also should mention we're from around Toronto, Burlington market. It's freaking cold right now, and so anyway, we're looking forward to that at the end of the hockey season. To hopefully travel.
But get back to the hockey. What's going on?
Well, I get thinking about hockey. I get thinking about Vegas and Florida. So I'll let you go on now.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just saying it's very difficult, very interesting. I don't know if your team's on which end of it, but I'm actually not enjoying this hockey season as much as normal personally. Really, the Leafs are my team, so I'd like to see them succeed, but I have no interest in watching the games because of the style this year. But, it's COVID year. We're just happy to have it back. We're happy to be able to wager on it. It's one thing I have been good at is understanding wagering on it. The one thing that's been pretty consistent is whether teams score goals or not.
Yeah.
That's been a main focus for sure. And then, double headers are very interesting. Typically, no matter how bad the team is, they seem to keep it close for second game, if not pull up the upset win. First thought of NHL, a lot of separation. Second thought, though, good for wagering. Lots of consistency. You can pretty much play the over in the Scotia North Division, which is the Leafs, Montreal, Winnipeg, Edmonton. I mean, just goals everywhere.
Shots on goal are insane.
So that's pretty simple strategy for people to follow at home if you want to make a few bucks. Is pick the over in those games. They come up last night, 7-3 Leafs. It's just incredible. And then look for those back-to-backs. The team that gets beat typically plays a lot closer game. And the team that won usually spends too much energy getting that win and too much focus getting that win. So you see a lot of times, like I said, it may not get the full victory, but you're going to get probably more of a low-scoring game and a lot more competitive one. So those are a couple of things I've been able to figure out in the NHL. So for betting, I've enjoyed it because there's consistency. They're playing the same teams, same goal scorers. Guys are healthy. It's not like basketball players sit out. Back-to-backs have shown a consistency of being less scoring in the first game. So I've liked it for betting, not liked it as a fan. That's pretty much my takeaway. We've spilled a lot here, but that's pretty much the summary of it for me in the NHL season.
Well, and we're looking forward as well. The Leafs could have a big year. Austin Matthews could be a leading scorer in the league. He's pumping goals in like crazy. Also want to talk about a play that you don't get to see a lot because he's from Edmonton, but he is the best player in the league, which is kind of an unfortunate part, a lot for the U.S. People that can't get those games necessarily on TV. But Connor McDavid is everything they've ever said. If he could get on a team that was any good around him. But he made an end-to-end rush the other night against the Leafs. It was like spectacular. So I do encourage you to get on YouTube and watch some of the Connor McDavid stuff because he's just unbelievable.
Well, yeah, I mean, great thing about Twitter and YouTube, you can go see that
these
play.
highlights, and it's worth it.
Yeah, obviously, great player, and we hope Edmonton gets in the playoffs this year. I think it would be great. Maybe Leafs versus Edmonton if they keep the divisions the way they are, which will be a topic coming near playoff time, is if they get together, maybe do a bubble or stick to these divisions, you might get a playoff series that has Toronto and Edmonton. Yeah. Be very interesting. Although I'm sure both Leafs and Edmonton fans will be upset that they have to play one another.
They have to play each other right away and knock them out. Yeah.
Anyways, that's the NHL. We're going to try to keep it as 5 minutes, but that's probably a little bit overboard. But we get excited on our first show here. We'll roll into the NBA, which is obviously the other sport going on right now. Every sport is going on, thankfully.
We're champion 2 years ago, so basketball became very huge in Toronto.
Well, NBA's taken over Toronto a little bit. Definitely when we won 2 years ago, it was a big deal for us. We've kind of fallen off a little bit since then, losing lots of players, actually. A lot of our older players, but started with Kawhi. It's now gone with Ibaka and Gasol have left. Right now, we're relying a lot on our young players. It hasn't been perfect so far, but we'll see.
But we have to believe we have the best president in basketball. There's something brewing. We think it might be with Milwaukee. We're not positive, but there's something brewing that he's allowed. I think a team in a rebuilding year, but he will bring the right players in at the right time.
Yeah, I'm not sold on his motivation. He hasn't re-signed for some reason. I'm not really sold on his motivation. I'm not really sold on the Raptors. I think they barely make the playoffs, and if they make the playoffs, I don't think they're much of a threat going forward. They haven't shown any depth, and that's really what the key is to the playoffs.
Next year.
And that's what the Toronto Raptors have been able to do in the past, was show depth, actually. I mean, that's what people don't talk about. When Kawhi came out, they were able to stay in games, even maybe going a little bit of run, and then he came back in. So depth was everything to the Raptors. They don't have it this year. We'll see how far it carries them. They might make some trades near the deadline, and we'll see if that happens. Van Fleet's playing well. Siakam's got to step it
a
up.
record of points the other night.
Yeah, I mean, he was
Record.
just fantastic.
Amazing.
I mean, 50 points plus by an undrafted player, which is always a story. And I think we're going to see this a lot more because guys don't want to get drafted in the second round and have their rights taken. They're going to go to the G League a lot more, and you're going to see lots of young kids go to G League too instead of going to school. So it'll be interesting, but credit to Van Fleet. I mean, he's playing out of his mind. It was an unbelievable game. We need a couple more guys to step up like that. But as of right now, we'll move on to other teams because we're biased Toronto, but probably a playoff team, but not what we've come used to in the last couple of years where they were dominating.
But the unfortunate part about COVID is probably the greatest fans that ever live in the sport who go outside in the Jurassic Park, which if you weren't watching the playoffs 2 years ago, 100,000 people all jammed into an area downtown. Not able to do that now. I think that's hurting the Raptors a little bit too, being in Tampa Bay. Although they all love the weather.
Well,
but
it's their away record, though. They're 3-7.
Yeah.
They lost a lot of close games. They lost like 5 games by a score, and Siakam's missed 3 game-winning shots.
Yeah.
You know, I think that ball should probably go to Van Fleet. The tough part is more of a 3-point shooter, and they're trying to get Siakam in the middle there for a closer shot. But really, you know, that's basketball, that's sports, that's hockey. You know, there's teams that are on the wrong side. The LA Chargers in the football have been that team on the wrong side of one-score games for the last 3 years. So, you know, Raptors are just having that.
They even changed their quarterback this year. Still were leaders.
Right.
So, but the other thing to look at too is in the same division, because Lakers are going to win, Clippers are going to win their divisions. These are all pretty soft things. We know these are going to happen. Milwaukee's a surprise to me. I really thought with the signing of Giannis that they would roll over the East.
Well, they're second in the East. You know, Philly's been very good. Philly is that depth team that I've talked about. They're actually the most dangerous because they went out and got the other Curry, Seth Curry, and he's been shooting amazing. Absolutely lights out. So he must have taken some.
Well, it's tough to keep. You got to keep up with your brother, right?
Yeah. So he must have taken some.
The off time they used well.
Yeah, clearly, because he's been great, and Philly's been great. You know, trust the process is the saying around there. The big guys are playing well enough, but I think it's the little additions that they've added, which are the little additions that matter. You know, like I said, you know, you look at sometimes Danny Green for the Raptors did it for us, and so on and so forth. There's always those guys. I don't know their names. That's why they're those guys, but they're the guys that you remember in the moment at least. And right now, it might be Seth Curry for Philly, playing way better than they could have ever anticipated. The big guys are doing their things, being consistent night in, night out. And they're playing their big guys probably the most. Like a lot of teams are resting their stars. They're not. They're really looking to have the number 1 seed in the East here. So Philly is not shocking. Although I think you know, I think their commitment to being number 1 in the East is more surprising because you know teams haven't done that. They certainly look like it to me. Like they want to play their guys. They're going to be number 1 seed. They're going to try to get on top. So I like Philly to probably hold that spot. Milwaukee and Brooklyn are doing their thing, but they're sitting Kevin Durant. They're sitting Giannis. You know, Giannis has no help, so when you sit him or if you sit other guys around him, he already has no help. So, you know, those guys will still be in their respected top seeds, but they're not going to have the fantastic records we've seen in regular NBA seasons because how many games they're playing in a row. Coaches are being careful. But everyone's there. Everyone's there. Philly, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Boston, Indiana. Charlotte's probably the biggest surprise for me. They went out and got LaMelo Ball. Or I don't know which one. There's 3 of them.
I just want to watch Saturday Night Live with
Keenan Thompson. But you know, they went out and got LaMelo Ball in the draft. And honestly, this family used to drive me nuts. Although you've seen the dad kind of go away since the son's actually made it. Like you said, the SNL impersonation is probably the best part. But he's played amazing. And Charlotte's been very good with Gordon Hayward as well. Michael Jordan's got a pretty good young team there. They're playing pretty well lately. They're in a good spot. You know, Cleveland, Atlanta, New York Knicks. Got to be happy, hanging on possibly to a playoff spot near the end of the season. But anyways, not much surprising there.
But Joey, good thing you said about what's going on. We would normally be picking almost our playoffs and our champions by now because the teams have been into the game a bit. But with this multiple games being played, this whole wacky, you know, more guys are sitting out when they're playing back-to-backs and stuff.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. We know who's going to be in the finals.
Well, we know that one side. We know the one side anyway. We know LeBron's going to be there unless he gets injured.
Yeah, but
he's all by himself when it comes to that. Triple-double last night, I think it was. So he's going to be there.
That's not even news anymore.
No.
But you got the Lakers, the Clippers coming out of the West most likely, and probably Brooklyn or Milwaukee coming out of the East. You know, unless Philly can prove that they've gotten over those playoff jitters, I guess we'd say that. So now as a betting side of it, real quickly here, because we spent a lot of time just talking about it, as a betting side, it's been very difficult. One thing I've done is try to focus on one team that loves the cover, one team that plays their guys a lot. Utah Jazz probably been the best team because they did win 11 in a row by covering 11 in a row. But they're not solely based on a superstar. So if you're looking to on the wagering side, I've gotten a little bit better with basketball by focusing on one team, focusing on tiny spreads. That's probably the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
The big spreads killed me early. I thought, I took Brooklyn early. They won by like 20 points. I thought, I'll take big spreads. That really backfired. So I've gotten better at closer spreads, focus on teams that are playing their guys more often, teams that don't rely on LeBron to basically carry the team.
You gotta watch those big spreads because they take LeBron. They're up 16 points.
No, but even
he goes on the bench and they're up 3 points.
Right. But even in a small spread like 7, they just time it so well.
Yeah.
But you look at Utah. Denver's a decent team to play. Portland got the big win last night. A couple nights ago, I picked them as an underdog against Philly. But just look. That's why I say Philly's a good betting team too because they have a depth of guys. So just look for teams that can sit there starting for portions of the game and still cover, not give a ton of points. Lakers, even though they win a lot, they do that a lot, and they've blown a couple, I know for sure, near the end, sitting LeBron. They always seem to go on a bad run. Clippers are the same thing. First half, they'll be down by 10, then they'll win by 10.
Yeah.
So just try to pay attention to the teams that have to play their guys, can sustain minutes without their top guys, and still cover the spread. That's what I've been focusing on lately. And I've been more successful.
And the betting will get better as we get closer to playoffs and teams need to win to make the playoffs, as we know. Then they're going to play their top players all the time. Right now, they're kind of fitting into this whole thing where they can sit some guys and then come back and still win games. But if you've got a 20-point spread or 10, they'll win by 4 quite often. We saw this happen all the time, right?
What's crazy is sometimes they're not even winning now. I mean,
they lose a game.
I've seen it in college. I've seen in the NBA now. Now teams are falling asleep and they're not getting their momentum back. But that's basketball. Basketball, tough to bet. Going to be fun to watch. It's going to get competitive again near the playoffs. One sport that survives on the top teams. So, for me, I really don't watch till the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
But, man, they can create some unbelievable moments. There's nothing like a game-winning shot. I don't think you really have that like you do in basketball where a guy can step back, hit that 3 to win the game. It's just so exciting. And you can be down by 11, minute to go, minute and a half to go.
Or a guy gets that hot like Van Cleef did just recently, gets 50 points.
Or Steph
at 63, I think it was. Yeah. You don't see that in any other sport. No one can get that hot and dominate a game like they can in basketball. So fun to watch still, but it's been a little bit of a nightmare betting.
We call them a highlight sport.
Yeah.
Like soccer. The highlights
YouTube.
are fun. Watching LeBron's highlights are fun, but, So basically, basketball, pretty much where we expect most teams to be. And then betting's been difficult.
Yeah.
But like I said, try to focus on those closer spreads.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So what we're going to move on to next here, Joe?
PGA Tour. Let's look at some golf here. We're saving football for last, but PGA Tour, like I said, used to be a professional golfer. He used to be my caddy. We haven't done that lately due to some injuries, and then obviously COVID's come up. But we love golf. We watch golf. Great thing about golf.
We love to bet it.
We love to bet it because odds are amazing in golf. They're the best. If you don't start on a small budget, maybe want to hit something big, golf's the place to do it. You could pick someone to win a tournament that's massive. I mean, you get great odds, top 10 too, and all those fun stuff. But the one thing I also love about it is interviews, and they interview a lot. They're very honest about their play. They don't have teammates to worry about. I think the great thing about golf is they play the same courses every year. There's no teammate that may not get him the ball the same as last time or steal some shots. There's none of that. He plays the golf course. He's played it years before. He tells you, because he does so many interviews throughout the week, how his game is. And these guys are so honest on Twitter and everything too. They're honest about their confidence and everything like that. So I love betting golf. I think it's so much fun to try to find a super, super long shot and get a big payday.
This week, the best player in the majors over the last number of years with Brooks was incredible odds.
Yeah, I mean, you got Brooks at 50 to 1 at a tournament.
And he told us that he was going to be better this week and better the week after that, getting ready for the Masters, and yet he's still 50 to 1. So,
well, you know what? In this tournament, the one thing with COVID, you might ask, like basketball has provided maybe different results because no fans, same with hockey. I mean, golf, it's different, but they don't rely on the fans to necessarily pump them up when they're getting down. So, I feel like it's still a good sport to bet. It's still a good one to look at and watch because the courses are still the same. And then you talk about watching it. It's just been fun to watch some golf, watch some warm weather. All the big guys are out playing early.
Yeah.
They've all been itching probably to play, and there's really no point in being home because you can't do anything. So I think you're seeing a lot of big guys play early, and it's been great. Great tournament this weekend, the Waste Management Open. Missing the fans, but it's going to be very exciting.
Well, what is it, 7,000 they're going to allow in?
Yeah.
And it's usually 100,000 or something along those lines.
Yeah, they usually get
so this is a tournament we normally look so forward to. But I will say about the fans in golf, why it's not the same. Pretty typically, we're watching the shot. Like the cameras close in on the golfer. It's not like other sports where there's this momentum of a crowd, unless Tiger's playing, of course. But in regular events, there's no momentum of the crowd like there is in others that kind of change the mindset of the golfer. I mean, they play alone a lot. They practice alone a lot. This is not the same impact it was when the Raptors had this craziness happen around the team. So, but golf is a great sport to watch. You get to watch all the important shots. If you haven't watched a lot of golf, we have to watch a lot of boring parts of sports. And we're going to talk about the NFL. We want to talk about parts of that happening. But in golf, you see every important shot. Every shot they go to take the camera to matters. And I love that about watching golf.
Yeah, I mean, we're biased to golf. We love watching. I think more people should get into it. I think, like I said, you get to see actually more action than you think because you think of live and all the walking, but you get to go shot to shot. And then you get to see these beautiful golf courses, maybe bucket list them one day to go play them. We certainly do that. And then, the one thing about golf is that because it quiets down for a shot, unlike other sports, so it like quiets down. When a good shot's hit, then it erupts usually. That's what I do miss of the fans as you speak. But on other news of golf, Tiger looked like not playing till the WGC, maybe just before the Masters.
And I'm going to mention right here now, we normally do future bets, and who called it that Tiger would be injured for the Masters? That'd be me.
Yeah.
And the odds were enormous at the time. They're low now because he's announced the injury. But that's another thing about sports in general, but golf is one of those ones that you can look ahead and make predictions.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't rule him out of all of a sudden showing up.
You love Tiger too much. He's injured. He's not coming.
He showed up to the last Masters and finished 5th. So after he says that every year though, he's like Max Kellerman in the Cliff. Tiger's no good. Tiger's injured. Then when he won the Masters,
well, I love Tiger.
He's in tears because he can't do the
right?
moment. But
yeah, it's just a fact.
It will be interesting. I think the Masters will be another competitive one. They seem to produce a lot of top stars lately, winning the Masters, so they're getting used to it. DJ now gets one. How far does that take him? Different timetable than the last Masters. Obviously, we're getting back-to-back Masters, which is very, very cool. But that's the kind of news on golf, though. There's no big news on golf, really, as far as, like, dramatic, like, player trades in some sports. Yeah. And it's kind of, typical, although, a couple equipment changes. John Rahm to Callaway. Brooks Koepka fires his coach. Switch clubs. He's getting back to normal, I think, back to his golf swing. Tiger's injury. Couple controversies with Rory and Patrick Reed that were all settled out, thank God. I think it was overreacted, but it is what it is. Justin Thomas had a little bit of a mix-up, but overall, golf's going through. It's the lovable sport. It's the fun sport you count on every weekend it's playing. Always seems to have a big name in it these days because they force them to play so many tournaments. And producing a lot of great finishes. Quick update, Steve Stricker. 53 years old. He's leading by 2 right now.
Somebody almost my age.
Someone almost your age. So, that's the great thing about golf is when Steve Stricker, I know people say, well, it's not a man's sport, then if Steve Stricker 53 can play, but in a different light, it's pretty amazing that golf can but have someone still be this good at his age. He's always been one of the great guys of golf. He's the Ryder Cup captain this year. I don't know if he's thinking about maybe playing now. I don't know. Maybe make himself
still got a bit of work to do there.
But 12 under, leading by 2. Be exciting to see him finish.
So I'm gonna do one thing. We're gonna wrap up really quickly here. Joey puts tons of time into reading all this kind. I'm much more of a feel player. My feeling this year is find all the bets you want around Dustin Johnson. I think he's gonna have a 2 major season this year. I think the Masters is one of them. I think he'll double up on the what was the U.S. Open? They changed all the dates. PGA
Masters.
Did he win? Was the Masters last year?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was in September. You're right. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm getting screwed up with where the schedule is. Anyway, I think he'll double up on the Masters, which would make him the strangest golfer of all time to be able to do that because it's never happened before. Right? You can't go Masters to Masters except for this COVID 2-year period. And you're going to see that with him. Long shot at the Masters, Bubba Watson. You want to make a bunch of money? You bet Bubba Watson. He's won twice. His game is rounding into form a little bit, but evidenced by the last couple of events he's been in, and he's my long shot pick for the Masters. So there you go. You're going to hear from Joey on all the betting, but I'm going to tell you, there's some big money to be made at the Masters.
Well, we'll focus on the betting when the Masters come around. I think, though, some future bets, if you do want to look at that, I think Schauffele gets on the board this year. You can still find some decent odds because he's never closed one out, but I think it's only a matter of time for him. Thomas has to get another one. I think
he's got to overcome that controversy.
I would have liked him early, but the controversy, he's playing okay. It'll be interesting to see how he pulls it up. I don't like Rory at all this year, so that's a bold prediction on the opposite win. On the opposite way, I don't like Rory at all. Brooks, I don't know if he was going to win one this year. To be honest with you, I don't really like his odds to win one this year. I really don't. I know he seems to surprise him. I think he's overdone it with this cocky attitude and the way he speaks and everything. So Ricky Fowler, I'd pick him to have another bad year. It's easy to say bad. Jordan Spieth, though, maybe. He's 7.
You have a love affair with Jordan Spieth. He won't make the cut in any major.
I tell you what.
He won't make the cut.
Jordan Spieth might find something here. He's gonna no fans. I think he's gotten rid of the. He was the leader of the players' organization. He's 7.
Does he still have the same coach?
No coach.
I didn't hear that.
His dad's coach.
Oh, okay.
So, his dad's
that's the guy who got him there. So assume he's a pretty good coach.
His dad's helping. I think he still has the coach, but his dad's like helping. I think he's going to be more independent. He's 7 under today in the tournament, tied for 6.
He's done this before.
No, I know, but he's a confidence guy. He's a confidence guy. I'm talking about one major this year. I'm talking about one good 4 weeks of hotness. That's all he needs. Some guys are consistent. Rory's consistent. Right? He's always good. He's always going to be there. Guys like that, Spieth's an up and down, emotional, confidence guy. I'm just saying, if he grabs it, he's so far under the radar. I think he can do it this year.
And one other thing I'll tell you about golf that bet that I love is that Rory never closes out big tournaments. He hasn't won a major for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I love Tony Finau. I want him to win an event, but he is the best against bet you can make in any event where he is close. He is going to fade every single time. Use that bet. Again, you got to find the right betting operation that you can bet against somebody. Golf gives that opportunity in most events. So take a look at that. But those two guys, wherever they are on the final day, if they're within the top 5 or 6 or 7, you just bet against them, and they
I don't know if Tony's going to get a win this year. Probably a regular season win, not a major win. But you can't bet against golfers. Although I took Ryan Palmer to beat him in their head-to-head. So you can do something like that.
You can do it that way,
Speaking of Ryan Palmer, watch out for him. He thinks his game is good enough to make the Ryder Cup. So,
but Joe, there's a big point. They actually tell us how good they are.
Yeah.
It's the only sport that you get the player, as Joey said, interviews during the week, and they tell you, oh yeah, I'm going to be good this year. I'm planning to make the Ryder Cup team because all these things happened to me in the last 3 years, and I've solved all of that, and I'm ready to play. You can't get that information in any other sport but golf.
Right. And get the odds on Ryan Palmer. I mean, Ryan Palmer's telling you he's thinking he can make the Ryder Cup team. I mean, start playing him top. Oh, you don't need that much, but start to play him top 10s and wins. And if he catches a top 10, I mean, he's telling you he's ready to go. He thinks he has his eyes on the Ryder Cup. You're going to hit a big number with him any given week. So Ryan Palmer, play him all year long. Top 20, top 10, top 5 win. He's going to have some good weeks here, and he's going to provide long odds if he thinks he can make the Ryder Cup team. So,
by the way, if you don't have the TV time to be watching the Golf Channel, Joey watches it all week. That'll be part of coming to his Twitter account every week. He'll tell you about these interviews. He'll tell you about guys that have said they're feeling good, they're not feeling good, whatever it may be. So that helps you make your own picks, even if you don't decide to go with Joey's. You'll have information you've never had before. And Joe, let's get to the big story. The NFL, it's at the game.
So we got the NFL, the big game, Super Bowl Sunday. I didn't know what to do with myself last weekend without football. It was tough. I almost watched Madden Sims just to give myself a little bit of NFL. First off, we have the storylines. You got Big Goat, Baby Goat, as everyone's been saying. Yeah. Obviously, Tom Brady, greatest of all time by far. You couldn't write a movie.
We would hate the movie.
That. Yeah.
We go, there's no way this could happen.
You could not write a movie. It's just unbelievable. I mean, a guy that leaves his team that has been so great, goes to a new team that hasn't made the playoffs, gets that team, goes on the road for all the playoff games, which no one's done since like 2008. Yeah. Makes Super Bowl, only team ever to make Super Bowl in its hometown, just to play Patrick Mahomes, the other guy who's supposed to be the future of the sport. You literally can't write a movie and make me believe it unless it happened in real life, and they should make a movie about this because it's truly incredible. Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes, Tampa Bay versus Kansas City, all this, there's so many storylines, it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be emotional, I think. I think it's going to be maybe the most watched Super Bowl ever. I heard the ads are going at like 5.5 million when they were expecting only 1 million because of COVID. In maybe the darkest year we can all remember with COVID and everything like that.
Doesn't sports seem to do this?
It seems to do.
The worst times things happen all the time, the greatness of the sports. And like you say, this year with COVID, they couldn't have gotten anything better. Last week, I don't know that there was 10% of the people that thought that he could go into Green Bay and beat Aaron Rodgers. Like,
that was the thing
nobody
for me.
would have picked that.
Yeah, that was the thing for me. I mean, I believed, obviously, you believed
Although
him
I picked him right at the start
all
of the
year
year.
long. Yeah, all year long. As soon as he went there, Dad was all over him. You know, he loves his Tom Brady.
By the way, I'm so happy because I think Bill Belichick is a nothing coach. He rode Tom Brady for 20 years. I don't even care about this season specifically when it got rubbed in his nose. Not that Tom doesn't, because he's just the greatest interview there is. But Belichick, as far as I'm concerned, has been so overrated. He's had the best quarterback, and I just love the fact that Brady decided to leave at the end to prove that he was the story. He was the man. Already players are talking about getting out of New England and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I just want to say that because I'm such a Tom believer. And I'm thinking that we're going to see Tampa Bay win this weekend. I think Mahomes, here's the interesting part. A lot of people think Brady's got something to prove. Actually, Mahomes has more to prove, and he's a young guy. I think he's going to be nervous. I think we're going to see some of the games we might have seen in the regular season where they weren't that great. I think this is a big game for Brady. He wants to put a stamp on the end of his career here, which may not even happen, but he wants to put a stamp on this game, I think.
Well, I mean, I think as far as mindset goes for quarterbacks, I think people, I think they're going to be comfortable. I think Tom will be a little bit more comfortable than Mahomes. Although there's two ways to look at it. One is, if you don't beat Tom Brady, who's 42 years old, how could you ever be named the greatest of all time? Even
I don't think he will.
Even if Mahomes went out and got 6. Yeah, but people say about
because people forget about the fact he lost 2 by horrible luck. I mean, he should be at 8 already.
Yeah,
that's 2 Giants
that's
stuff
sports.
like that.
I don't talk about
No, but
that.
he is the GOAT. There's no getting around it. I don't care what Mahomes does unless he wins more Super Bowls.
Okay,
That's all.
well, if you let me finish.
No, I won't.
I was
Sorry.
saying that if Mahomes, which is already on pace, only played 2 seasons as a Super Bowl. I mean, honestly, if you don't beat Tom Brady now, 42 years old, I think there's a lot of pressure there. But then there's a lot of pressure for Tom thinking how many times it's going to happen. People talk about the players who brought in were amazing. They all get older year by year in football, and you never know how long that means. Everyone's going to want money again, so you never know what that means.
And Kansas City, too.
Kansas City, everyone's going to want money as well.
Cap issues.
People forget about Tyreek and Travis Kelce are 3rd. Anyways, there's 1,000 storylines here. As a football fan, honestly, just enjoy it. Sit back, watch these 2 great quarterbacks go head-to-head. I lean towards Tampa Bay because I think their defense is playing way better than Kansas City's defense.
Home game.
Offenses are about the same. They're going to sleep in their home beds. No COVID worry. Kansas City's had some worries about COVID. Offensive linemen were placed on the list. They're probably going to play and have a full roster, but they've dealt with a little bit more of that. And then the biggest storyline no one talks about, and I don't know Mahomes' exact record. I mean, he beat Miami this year, but Tom Brady struggled coming from New England to Tampa, or New England to Miami.
Yeah.
Now he's going from Kansas City to Tampa Bay, cold to warm. Be interested how that plays out. But enjoy it. It's a Super Bowl. It's the greatest Super Bowl you could ever ask for in a COVID year, which was kind of a downer. Football has provided great all year long. Games have been fantastic. Divisions have been fantastic. Even on your off week, they provide the biggest trade maybe in NFL history with Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff. I mean, it just does not stop for the NFL. It's going to be so much fun.
And certainly one of the dumbest trades, so we can talk about that maybe. We got lots of time to get into the trade down the road. It's all about the Super Bowl. Quite honestly, and we are no different than anybody else, you'd be better to not have any money on the game so you can just enjoy the game instead of betting on one team and they're not winning, and then you're miserable. So, but we're all going to do it. It's just a fact of life.
We're going to cheer for Tampa Bay, so we have a little bit of something on Tampa Bay. But
we have a second home in Tampa Bay because we're also heavily into the racing game.
Yeah.
We love Tampa Bay Raceway. We go there in Gulfstream in the winter typically. And so we're missing that this year. Yeah. So they just become our NFL team because we love being down there. We love Tampa Bay. Beautiful city.
We love Tom. I mean, anytime our teams go out, we go for the best. So Toronto goes out, we go for LeBron. You know, our Seahawks, oh God, see how Seahawks are our team. When they go out, we choose for Tom Brady. I mean, there's nothing like seeing these guys push the envelope and push their greatness to another level, to a point where you just can't fathom or can't see anybody touching these records. It's truly remarkable. So,
and I've seen Tom his whole career being my age. So
the fun thing is,
he's the last player of that age group for sure.
Yeah, definitely last player of that age group. Yeah. And you've seen him since. I mean, it's hard to believe you've seen him. I
also saw the last Toronto Maple Leafs Stanley Cup. So
I was 4 when he won his first Super Bowl.
That's right.
So it's going to be so much fun. A lot of celebrities are involved. Lots of Kansas City fans. Lots of Tom Brady fans. I wonder how many New England fans are cheering for Tom Brady.
Some news that came out this morning. The Weekend announced that the grandstand is not going to be inside the stadium. Because of COVID, they don't want to move it, so they've actually, and he wouldn't give many details, except he said it won't be inside the stadium. They're going to have to watch it on a big screen at some point, but they've already pre-built.
Anyways, we're leaning Tampa Bay. I'm leaning Tyreek Hill to hit his prop bets. Go look at Tyreek Hill, touchdowns, receiving yards. He will be the main focus.
Insane.
They will not stop him, despite the fact I still think Tampa Bay wins this game. Tom Brady wins the MVP once again. Mike Evans to score a touchdown. You can get 7-1 for him to score first touchdown in the game. I think Brady scores 2+ touchdowns, maybe even 3. I forget what it is right now on most sites. I think he's throwing the ball, though. I think that's going to be very important for them to keep up with Kansas City. But I do think Leonard Fournette, as a running back, will have a good receiving game. So look for that. I don't like his rushing as much, but receiving, they used them a lot in Green Bay.
They did.
To receive, not rush. I was a little disappointed because I had him rushing. But look for that. So if I'm looking prop plays, Leonard Fournette receiving, Tyreek Hill, literally everything on the board. And then I'm looking for bad running game on Kansas City. So go under on the Charles Hilaire on his rushing yards.
And he's coming off an injury not long ago.
Right. I think you're going to see, I don't know if there's a prop bet on how many sacks for Tampa Bay. I'm going to go with 3 or more sacks. I think Tom Brady doesn't get sacked at all. I think you can find that one. And then Tom Brady, 2 or 3 touchdowns, take the over, whatever it is. I think he's going to throw 2 or 3 to keep up with Kansas City. And then really what you're looking for to me is a 28-23 type of game, 28-24 type of game. It's going to be a nail-biter and maybe a Tom Brady final 2-minute drive to cap it off.
Well, I'd love to see that. Here's the only thing I'm worried about. As the playoffs last year, and this is why I think Mahomes is nervous, they were well behind in 2 of the games of the playoffs last year. And what my fear is, that allows him to not think about anything but dropping back and throwing the ball down the field. And so that worries me more. I think he's more tight the closer the game is. Even in the regular season this year, they had a couple of close ones. I thought he played horribly in the fourth quarter. And I am worried about him. I'm worried about Tampa Bay getting a quick start, and then the coach just says, start throwing the ball. And he's obviously a great thrower. He's got Hill. So I don't want that to happen. He's got Kelsey as well. I want him to stay in a game plan. I think he looks nervous in a game plan. I think he loves just getting back there and him picking the receiver to throw it to. Yeah. So there's my point. I tell you that if Tampa Bay gets too far ahead, I'm worried. That's the only time I'm going to be worried.
I'm not, because Tom Brady can waste 8 minutes off the clock.
That's true, too, yeah.
The teams he came back on were against young quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson, Ryan Tannehill, Jimmy Garoppolo. If Tom Brady got a lead, I promise you he would somehow figure out an 8-minute drive. And next thing you know, Mahomes ain't getting on the field. And Buffalo, quite frankly, couldn't score in the red zone. Tom Brady will score, so that lead might happen, because it almost happened for Buffalo, except they just couldn't get in. Kansas City has a horrible red zone defense. Tom Brady knows how to find it, but
he also knows how to win.
He'll run the ball if he needs to.
That's what I mean.
So
in LA, 3-3,
don't get down.
He takes a long drive to score the extra 7 points to win. Nobody can win like that.
It's just not the same. Kansas City has to be very worried if they get down, or if they get up. I don't know. They just always have to be worried. Brady seems to find a way, but I think it's not like other games. I think Brady can find 8 minutes to waste. So it's going to be interesting for sure. Tyreek Hill and Kelsey are the only 2 guys he's throwing to pretty much the whole playoffs. They're going to try some end around, some fancy stuff. But Tampa Bay getting interceptions every game so far in the playoffs.
Defense has become incredible.
They're giving up some points, but they're getting turnovers. They're getting some big sacks when they need to. So it's going to come down to that Tampa Bay defense making that one big stop that I don't see Kansas City's defense having.
And don't be surprised that if the one guy that at the middle of the year no one wanted except Tom Brady, he went out and got him. Don't be surprised he has a 2 or 3 touchdown game.
Antonio Brown may not even, he's probably going to play. He's a little banged up. I'd look at Chris Godwin mostly and at Mike Evans.
Yeah.
I mean, Brown's going to be...
I like guys who think they're stars and are confident like that, and they play the biggest games the biggest way. Look for Gronk this week, too. He's been totally under the radar. Look for that kind of play to happen. I think one of the older guys is going to have a spectacular day.
Gronk's been blocking great, too. Yeah. So, I think he'll be heavily involved. I think you're going to see, like I said, you're going to see some screens to Fournette, some short passes. Then next thing you know, they might flip it to Gronk for a big play. Same way. So, you're going to see some old tricks from Tom Brady come up there. One thing he's done this year is throw some bombs as well.
Yeah.
It's just a fire weapon offense. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It won't be 10-7 like when he beat the Rams or 10-3 when he beat the Rams. So, I think this is one for the record books, and one that hopefully we all remember, and it brings a bunch of fun to our Sunday. I'm certainly looking forward to it. And they're going to have about 20,000, 25,000. most healthcare workers. Robert Kraft flew 7,000. No, that sounds wrong. 700 healthcare workers on his jet or something.
Yeah, they wouldn't have anybody left in the hospital.
What a great gesture by him. So NFL's done it right. They've won this season, and hopefully they cap off with a good one.
By far, and we're going to be watching. We're going to be back Monday to recap the weekend of all games, but certainly the NFL #1. Look to Joey's Twitter to get VIP. Joey's VIP.
Joey's
Club.
VIP. You're messing me up. Joey's VIP Club, guys. I'm giving away free plays, giving away some advice, having some fun on some comments throughout the games too when I get a little nervous. But Joey's VIP.
Yeah, join it. You'll be
out.
tweeting. You've done that all the big games. You're tweeting the whole game. So get into the conversation, guys. We're going to look forward to seeing you on Monday. We'll have a show out for Monday night. And enjoy the weekend. That's about it. And we're excited we had the first show. We're going to have to get better. I noticed we weren't quite as smooth as we were back when we were doing it a couple years ago. So that'll improve as well, but it'll be a lot of fun no matter what. Mm-hmm. And we'll cast off now to Monday, and have a great weekend.